Hope deferred maketh the heart sick. Hello and welcome back to G.A.R Productions. Today I wanted to talk about something that maybe we don't really talk about a lot, but I think all of us at some point experience in Lego Star Wars collecting or the Lego Star Wars hobby, and that is disappointment. I guess I quoted a Bible verse there in the beginning, hope deferred maketh the heart sick. And that's what's talking about there when things that we hope for don't happen and we miss out on them, it makes our heart sick. And yeah, when we get disappointed about things we thought we'd be able to do, it's kind of hard. And I just wanted to talk about maybe why that is and maybe some things to help avoid that maybe. And what spurred me thinking of this, I don't know if you guys, how many of you subscribe to Ryan and watch his videos or watch his vlog posts. If you don't, I would recommend it. I think he's one of the best Lego YouTubers out there. It's very enjoyable content. But he had been invited to the Rebuild the Galaxy premiere in Los Angeles, which I think is fitting. He's one of the bigger, if not the biggest, I don't know about the biggest Lego Star Wars YouTuber, but he's one of the bigger ones. He's kind of the genesis for even having the idea of Jedi Bob coming back at all. So we shouldn't ignore that. So it was fitting for him to get to go. He was all excited, emailed back right away to RSVP as he should. And then the people behind it emailed him back and said, sorry, there's actually not enough space. I don't know how you can invite people and not have enough space for them. I feel like you'd have a certain list. And then based on that, who does respond that they can't come, then you invite more people. I thought that would make sense. But, I'm not the planning committee for Rebuild the Galaxy premiere, but he wasn't able to end up going. And you could tell he really didn't, you could see it on his face more than he said it. He talked about it being disappointing, but you could really see on his face. I'll try and post that video down below because it was kind of, interesting and encouraging, and it was hard to see because I think all of us can relate on some level. Obviously, being disappointed, I'll talk about that more at the end. But in particular, within our Lego Star Wars hobby and collecting, there are certain times where there are going to be disappointments. And I think it's different for all of us at different stages of where we're at with collecting. I think the big one, especially for me as a kid and certain people, is not being able to get certain sets, not having the funds to get them before they retire. I remember a big one. For me, I really wanted to get the AT-OT and dropship, but it was just not a realistic option for me as a kid to get that set, and I really wanted to, but I just couldn't, and there's a certain level of disappointment. Another one is especially I feel like for our certain time in Lego's history, there is sometimes a level of disappointment with the lack of care from Lego right now, with some of the lack of care that they show, the figures not really being good figures, some of the sets being questionable. It's kind of disappointing when you get excited, when you get hopeful to see figures you really want, when you get hopeful to see sets when most people want them, and it seems like a realistic expectation when a set is over 10 years old for them to release it again when they know there's demand and you really want to see it and it still is not there. It can be disappointing. Another one for Lego content creators, if any of you guys are watching, I know some of you guys that watch this channel are trying to start your own YouTube channel. I know for me it can be discouraging not hitting certain subscriber goals when videos that you put a lot of time and effort in don't end up doing really well. That's been something that I've been currently kind of struggling with because I don't know why, but the channel has just not been getting out to as many people the past month and a half. So that's been discouraging. I thought math-wise would be really close to 1,000 by this time, and we're still in the 890s or 900s, which is still amazing. I mean, I'm so thankful for the people that are here, but it can be discouraging when you have an expectation and it's not met. And then obviously in Ryan's case, being offered something, whether that's a good deal, that can happen on some Legos, offering a good deal, potentially working out a good deal, and that people are receptive to it, being offered something like going to the Rebuild the Galaxy premiere, and then it being taken away. That can create a lot of disappointment. Those are all real things that can happen in Lego Star Wars hobby, and what do we do with them? How do we navigate those emotions? What can we do to help from to avoid being disappointed? I think a couple things. I know it's kind of maybe cliche, but it's very important. Appreciate what we do have. All of us, yes, we're collecting, so we're trying to get the next figure for our collection, next Lego set, but let's try and appreciate what we do have, what we have been blessed with, because truly we have honestly been blessed to be able to have the collections that we do have often. and also be willing to accept grief, as it were, that certain things that we thought were going to happen aren't going to happen. Dr. John Deloney, he works for Dave Ramsey, has said something profound when it comes to grief. And I know, again, it's just parts, but it's still applicable, I think. Grief is the gap. This is what he said. Grief is the gap between what you hoped would happen, or how you thought things would be or go, and what actually happened. I'll say that one more time. Grief is the gap between what you hoped would happen, or how you thought things would be, or how things would go, and what actually happened. Again, Lego is a very small thing in our lives. In relation to overall grief. I mean, obviously, there's much larger grief than simply not being able to get a certain Lego set or not hitting certain goals, but there's still a certain amount of grief, and it's okay to accept that. It's okay to walk through grief that you had this expectation, that you had an idea of how your collection would be, how your channel would be, what things would be able to work out, and when they don't, there is a certain level of grief, and that's okay. Not that we should stay in grief, not that we should be have a pity party and become a victim. It's not victimhood, but we need to accept that grief. But it's okay to have grief, to have a little bit of grief in missed opportunities. Try and set realistic goals. Accept grief when things do not work out. Remember, we all love Legos, but those are the things that I'm talking about today. Again, we all love Legos. It's still applicable to that. But these are also aspects of our larger life that are applicable to setting realistic expectations, appreciate what we have, walking through the stages of grief. Those are all bigger things, and they also impact our whole life, and they can impact our eternal lives too, which, again, we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Some different things. We all experience contentment. We will all experience grief, unmet expectations. We'll experience them in relationships, in jobs, again, relationships, whatever that could be, a breakup, a loss of a parent, a loss of a child, a loss of a best friend, et cetera, et cetera. There's many things that we can experience that. And again, we're looking to be able to be content, accept the grief. How do we deal with disappointments? Truly, the only way to be content in this life, for me, what really helps me, is looking to the person who controls the next life. And I believe that is Jesus Christ. I believe, to change a quote a little bit, I do believe he is the way. And again, some of you might not believe that, and that's okay, but that's what helps me, just to be hopefully an encouragement to you on the bigger things of life. Thoughts might help you when you get disappointed in your Lego hobby, because at some point, some of us all will be disappointed in our Lego hobby. But more than that, I hope maybe these small truths can help you in your larger life. I know they help me, and again, the biggest thing that helps me is my relationship with Jesus. I could not do it without him. If you do want to talk more about that, I'll be willing to share what I've gone through with that and how Jesus has helped me. And the hope I have found in him. I'd love to talk to you about it. Just shoot me a direct message on Instagram or some other way. That's the biggest way that I could have that direct message me. Go do that if you guys are interested in that side of the things. And I'm thankful that you're maybe willing to hear me on that. And I do hope to hear from you guys, though, in the comments as well. Some of your experiences, because sometimes even that grief of, again, the difference between what you thought was going to happen and what actually happened, sometimes helping to go through that is talking about it. So even if you want to share big griefs in your life, you want to talk about to help, by all means do it in the comments. But even if it's just the Lego side of life, let me know, because we've all had disappointments in Lego, and I'd love to hear from you guys, and love to hear a discussion on your thoughts on this video. Truly, I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I will catch you guys next time.